You are tuning in to a Goldilocks Productions presentation of the InnerSpeak Soul Adventures radio show with Jean Adrienne. Jean is the creator of InnerSpeak, a method for clearing karmic and ancestral blocks. She's the author of 4 books and 2 decks of metaphysical clearing and activation cards. Jean offers private sessions via phone or Skype, as well as her office located in Blairsville, Georgia. Call in now to reserve your spot on the switchboard. The call-in number is 657-383-1895. Enjoy this soul-healing show.
Good afternoon. Happy Monday and happy Mercury retrograde. Now, it's actually not stationing direct until just like a minute after midnight tonight, but we are in it, and we are in it good. And, boy, I'm feeling the energy. You know, Mercury retrograde is the perfect time to do RE things like rest, review, revisit, reweave, revitalize, all those kinds of good things. And when you're doing an RE thing in a retrograde Mercury, well, guess what? It works really well. And I think the energy hit me yesterday. I tend to get energetic information before the thing already happens, if that makes any sense. So yesterday I woke up and I was kind of in a funk, and seems to be that seems to be my Sunday sort of pattern of late, because that happened last Sunday as well. And I just decided, you know what, I am not falling into this one this time. I'm going to take care of this myself, because I create my reality, and I don't have to be in a funk if I don't want to be. So I got up, and I, without really considering that it was retrograde Mercury, I went and found a painting that I began last summer. I love to paint, and, you know, I was painting like a crazy woman with her hair on fire there for a while, pretty much filled up all the space in all the rooms in my house where I had a place to hang a picture. And something happened last summer, mid-last summer, late last summer, I don't know, and I just kind of lost interest in it. And so I had this painting of a morning glory that was maybe 2/3 finished, half to 2/3, I guess. And it's quite a lovely thing. And it's just been sitting in my guest room on the easel now since almost a year. And so I went and I drug that out, all of my paints, and I started painting, and I actually finished it today. So revisit, redo. And, you know, there were more layers that got added to that. It's not the best time to start new stuff, but, you know, as long as you're not dealing with something that's a contract or, you know, like changing jobs, you know, things that have to do with communication and transportation, those are the things that you really have to keep an eye out for during the retrograde Mercury, because Mercury is the ruler of communication and transportation. So, you know, the only reason why I say don't change jobs is because communication can get screwed up. So you might have misinterpreted what they were saying your job was going to be, or even how much money they were going to pay you if you accepted a position during retrograde Mercury. Now, if you've been negotiating that position all along for several weeks or even a month or so, then it wouldn't be affected, because you would already have, you know, ironed out all the details. It would be something that was started before Mercury retrograde. So we're also still in retrograde Venus. And retrograde Venus is about the feminine, the divine feminine. It's also about love and romance. So, you know, one of the things that tends to happen is people will meet somebody during a retrograde Venus, and boy, they seem like they're too good to be true. You know, this is the most amazing guy or girl I've ever met in my entire life, and I'm so in love, and blah, blah, blah. Well, what happens is that a lot of times when Venus turns direct, we find out that they really were too good to be true, that it wasn't exactly what we thought. We wake up to a coyote morning where you want to chew your arm off. So not a good thing. But enough about astrology. I'm ready to work with you now. The lines are open. I'm ready to do readings and clearings, and so you can call on in when you're ready. All right, we have our first caller, and that caller is the caller at area code 803. So who am I speaking with?
Hi, Jean. It's Hillary.
Hey, Hillary, how can I help you today?
Oh, I'm glad you said the thing about the job search a minute ago, because I was like, I have been searching for that new job for the past few weeks, and they contacted me again today. So I was like, oh, that's already been in the works for several weeks. So
yeah,
that
you're
puts
good to go.
puts my mind at ease about that. But I'm experiencing some fear around manifesting money right now. And I want to, I feel like there's some blockage. I feel like I'm trying to control the situation, and I want to get through that so that I'm not blocking the flow of finances, the money coming in, so that I can easily pay for some of the things that I need to spend some money on right now.
Cool. All right. Now, the first thing I'm going to tell you is that you're such an empath, and you're wide open. And this fear is a fear that is prevalent right now in mass consciousness. So part of this that you're dealing with is that you're picking up on stuff from mass consciousness that's not necessarily your stuff. So I'm going to invite you to pull all of your energy inside yourself, inside your divine line, and I want you to ask your higher self to locate all the reference points for fear around lack in mass consciousness that are inside your divine line, and I want you to ask your body to do the same thing inside her, and I want you to ask that all of these fears be lifted up and out. Yeah, good job. And I just want you to ask your higher self to activate the vibration of support in your divine line. Same for your body and same for your team. And then let's look at what's your part of this thing. We're going to pull some cards on this one, and we're going to start with the source card. So just take a minute, surrender to spirit, and ask for help. All right. So the first card I pulled says self-sabotage to avoid transforming. So don't we always have to laugh when that one comes out? All right. So I pulled another one, and this is this lifetime thing. So when Hillary created this fear of lack and worry about not having enough money, was she less than 5? Was she between 5 and 10? Was she between 10 and 15? Okay. Was she 10, 11? What happened when you were 12, Hillary?
I can't think of anything in particular other than, just starting to be in middle school. But nothing in particular is popping up right now.
Okay. So, you're right at the doorway to adolescence at age 12. So you're beginning to open up to your creativity as well, just kind of FYI. And I'm going to pull 2 of the orange cards to see what your higher self wants to tell you that is the setup around this. And it says, child or loved one taken away and felt powerless to do anything about it. So, does any of that resonate?
You know what? It might be, that's just, my mom got really sick about that time. And
okay.
So, and they had put her on a bunch of medications, and it almost killed her, all the medications that they had put her on. So maybe that's what it was?
Yeah, I think it was.
Would have been
I get a hit on that one. So I pulled the soul reaction card, the yellow card, and what that says is what that did to you at the soul level was created burnout, exhaustion, and weariness. So the burnout and exhaustion would make sense if you were being really stressed about your mother And by 12, you're beginning to take responsibility for things around the house and such as that. So there might have been an extra burden put on you with your mother's illness. But weariness, in my reality, has to do with an out-of-balance situation between your sympathetic nervous system and your parasympathetic nervous system. Again, this could have been created with the stress around your mother's illness. But, you can't create and manifest unless everything's in balance. The yin and the yang have to be completely in balance. It's got to be that divine marriage that takes place in the second chakra that enables you to be able to bring into reality the things that you desire. And, of course, at 12, the hormones in the second chakra area are starting to kick in as well, and if they're out of balance, you got all that going on. So I'm going to pull one of the blue cards, and let's see what the stuck belief is that you internalized when you were 12. Okay, this one. That it's not possible to change. So you're still holding on to that belief. It's a 12-year-old belief, but this would, put a giant bullseye on any bills and any concern about lack. If you thought, oh geez, running short and there's not a damn thing I can do about it, right? And all this comes from a 12-year-old. It's not your adult self who is very metaphysically and spiritually astute and knows much better than that. This is a 12-year-old running rampant inside your head. So let's clear this. All right. Pull one, pull two, and pull three. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to close your eyes and I want you to look for all of the areas of old stuck energy that are the 12-year-old thought forms that go back to this time when your mother got really sick and you were afraid she was going to die. And I want you to ask Spirit to help you to round all this stuff up and take them all to the light. They're inside your body and they're out in your field. Okay, so you've got a block in your second chakra. It's actually on the front of your second chakra. And I want you to, it's a shape of some sort. I want you to look down on your belly and find this block and the shape. And I just want you to ask Spirit to take it to the light. Let's get it out of your second chakra, because that second chakra is the one that you manifest and create from. It's all about sex and love and money.
Mm-hmm.
And now I want you to invite that chakra to heal itself and to balance its yin and yang aspects. Let's bring all your energy back into balance. And finally, I want you to pretend like you're holding up a big piece of white poster paper. And I want you to let your little 12-year-old self write you a message. Let her tell you what she needs to tell you that she didn't know how to express before. And when she's done writing, just flip it around and read what your 12-year-old self has to say.
What I get is, I just wanted out.
Wow. Okay. So just tell her you love her. And it's okay. And you've made it. So she survived. All right. So you get blessings for having the courage to call in and deal with this today and release the block. So let's see what the angels have in store for you. The first blessing that you receive is a blessing of union, the acceptance of love from yourself, from Spirit, from your family, from your husband, from the people at that new job. The second blessing is healing from your awakened inner. And the final blessing is release from overwhelm. So let me ask you, Where does your money come from? Where does your support come from?
Me.
How about,
How
about it's a vertical stream of flow. It comes from Creator, the masculine aspect of Creator above and the feminine aspect of Creator below. It's that flow. And so when you get out of balance, you block the flow. And if you expect it to come from anywhere else, like a paycheck or the lottery or clients or anything like that, then you're looking in the wrong place. You're pointed in the wrong direction and not where Spirit is actually located. Does that make sense?
It does.
So it's gratitude that owns every clearing. So just take a moment and give thanks to your angels, your teachers, and your guides. And I thank you for calling in today. It's great to talk to you, and just keep us posted. Stay in touch.
All right.
Thank you. All right. So listeners, everyone who's listening to the show gets the benefit of every clearing that I do. So if you've been having issues around money, hopefully you have done the clearing work along with Hillary and let your blocks go too. So we've got another caller. This is a person, area code 863. So who am I speaking with?
Hi, my name is Julia.
Hi, Julia. How can I help you today?
Well, I am experiencing a block around moving forward, feeling like I can do this. I divorced after 30 years, and I'm a me and not a we. So, just, having it all be, my entire life is now fully my responsibility, not a shared responsibility. And just, moving out on my own and, starting over, finding my own place to live, finding my own employment, friends, and things like that. So it's basically in a life makeover. So,
yeah, but congratulations. Good for you. And the truth is, Julia, that you've always been responsible for your life. It's not something brand new. So you've got a lot of practice at this. You're a good creator of a reality. You're just going to be creating a different reality. You're going to be painting on a new palette now. So it's really an exciting time if you look at it that way. So let's look at what is blocking you from being able to step out, onto a new path with confidence and with gusto and with excitement and with joy. So just take a moment, surrender to Spirit, and ask for help. All right, so let's see where the block was created. So this is a this lifetime block as well, Julia. All right, so was she less than 5? You were. Was she 5? What happened when you were 4, sweetie?
I'm not sure. I don't really remember a lot of my childhood.
Okay, that's not uncommon. So I'm going to pull 2 of the orange cards, the setup cards, and we're going to see what your higher self says. It wants you to know about what happened when you were 4. Wow, it's almost like I'm pulling the same cards, and I swear I shuffled these. So it says, child or loved one taken away and punished for another's misdeeds. So by any chance, did you guys move?
When you were 4? My mother was a single parent, and at some point, she started being my caregiver because my mother was a waitress and worked evenings. So my grandmother kind of took over the responsibility of raising me. So that could have been around that time because I was very young and don't really remember.
Okay. But your little soul felt like you were being punished for something she didn't do. So I think maybe there's a piece of this that you're still holding on to, not maybe, there for sure is, that makes you feel that this divorce is a punishment. So let's see what happened to your soul when you were 4. And what it says is lack of forgiveness is holding this in place. So there's still a piece of your little girl self that is angry about being punished for something that she didn't want, for a situation that she had no control over. And there's a stuck belief. So let's see what that one is. That's I am broken. So let's clear this, because you're not broken. You're doing great, actually. When I look in your energy, you're going to be fine. You're going to end up, in 6 months, you're going to call me and you're going to say, oh, my God, Jean, I am happier than I ever dreamed I could be. That, this is just so amazing. And, yeah, exactly. And I want you to, as soon as you get that feeling, that joy in your heart, and it wells up, it may not take you 6 months. I want you to contact me and let me know, because I know it's there. I know it's there. It's just a little fear that it's to say it's this 4-year-old fear, All right, so let's clear this. Let's see what we're going to do here. All right, so I actually pulled 4 cards. And the first card that I pulled said to forgive all concerns. So what I want you to do is I want you to go back and I want you to connect with your little, did I say 4 or 3? I can't remember. But your little, 4. Your little 4-year-old self. Go find 4-year-old Julia. And her feelings are hurt. She's lonely. She misses her mother. And I want you to forgive. I want you to forgive your mom. I want you to forgive her job. I want you to forgive the caregiver. And then I want you to forgive yourself, because there's a piece, she needs to forgive herself, not you forgive you. This needs to be done at age 4. She needs to forgive herself because she thinks that all this has happened because there was something wrong with her. And you're carrying energetic debris inside your body and out in your field. And this energetic debris is the residue from your little 4-year-old thoughts. But it looks like mirrors. There's all kinds of sizes and shapes: hand mirrors, bathroom mirrors, plate glass mirrors, framed mirrors. There are all manner of them. Some of them are broken. There are a lot of jagged edges. What I want you to do is I want you to ask Spirit to gather up all of those mirrors and clean them out of your body and out of your field, because what they do is they act like giant magnets, and they attract to you people and places and situations that make you feel just exactly like you felt when you were 4. So just ask Spirit to clean all these mirrors out of your body and out of your field. You know when they're all gone. And now I want you to do the same thing that Hillary did. I want you to hold up a big piece of poster board for your little 4-year-old self and give her a crayon and let her write you a message. And when she's done, just flip that piece of poster paper around and read what she said.
The thought that came to my mind was, I love you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so let's just make sure that you're holding that frequency of self-love. So I just want you to pull all your energy inside your heart center, and I want you to ask your higher self to activate the vibration of self-love in your heart, and let it spread through all of your chakras. And I want you to ask that your body does the same thing, and your team. And then finally, I want you to pretend that you're looking at yourself in a mirror. It can be a full-length mirror, it can be the bathroom mirror, whatever you want. But what you're going to see there is yourself today, Julia, being overshadowed by her sad, lonely, scared 4-year-old self. So I just want you to gently blow on the mirror. I want you to blow that energy off of the mirror, that old identity, so that you can see who you really are. You're a powerful being of light. You're strong. You're very talented. You got it going on, girlfriend. Good job.
Thank
All right, you get blessings from the angels for having the courage to call in and open your heart and become vulnerable with us here so that you could let all this go. So let's see what the angels have for you as gifts today. The first blessing is the return of your authority, power, and confidence. The second blessing is centeredness and calmness that enables you to see and accomplish your purpose. And your final blessing today is renewed faith in yourself. And Julia, it's gratitude that owns every clearing. So just take a moment and give thanks to your angels, to your teachers, to your guides. And I thank you so much for calling in. And I'm serious. You're going to be fine. Just use this newfound faith in yourself and this centeredness and this calmness and do what you need to do. And you are going to move into a completely new reality. And it's going to be a wonderful one.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. That was wonderful. Thank you.
You are very welcome. So, callers, listeners, if you want a clearing, call in now. And the number is, I'm drawing a blank. Hold on, let me pull up my banner, and I will tell you what the number is. So our number is 657-383-1895. And I really look forward to working with you and helping you to move into your power and do what you came here to do with ease and grace. But let's talk a little bit more about how this works. You know, I spoke about this with Hillary, and I want to reiterate it in case you missed that clearing and you're not sure what I said to her. So we tend to look outside ourselves for help, for support, for money, for love, and what we forget is that all of those things come from within us. You know, we're creator. We co-create with spirit. And we create with our thoughts, and we tend to forget that all of the answers are inside us. I mean, the masters throughout the ages have been telling us that, but we tend to forget it. And when we do that, what happens is it begins to feed itself. So we begin to look more and more in the wrong place for the support and the love and the creative gifts, and I'm guilty of this. And I've had this lesson given to me several times because I tend to forget, and so Spirit will rub my nose in it one more time. The first time it really became apparent was when I first moved up here to the North Georgia mountains. I had bought a log cabin on top of a mountain out of the proceeds from the sale of my house in a divorce. And I had owned the cabin for almost 10 years before it occurred to me that I was spending between $2,000 and $2,500 a month to maintain a domicile in Atlanta, where I thought all my support was and all my friends were and all my clients were and all that, when I actually owned this house on the mountain and it was paid for. And one day I woke up and I realized, boy, this is not really good stewardship of your money, Jean. And really kind of on the turn of a dime, I decided to move to my mountain house, to a town where I knew nobody. I mean, literally, my home in the mountains was on the south side of the little town called Blairsville, and I would go to Whole Foods and I would get my food that I would need for the weekend, and I would come up here every weekend to just be in that mountain energy. And I would bring everything that I needed. So I really never went into town unless I ran out of something important like toilet paper, because there was no need. I didn't need anything other than what I had right there in my mountain house. Well, so I moved up here, and I actually put a lot of effort into building community. And quite frankly, I've probably got a stronger support system in this tiny little town of about 29,000 people than I ever had in Atlanta. But I digress there. So life was rolling along pretty good. Moved up here in May 4 years ago, and in that winter, that first winter was a harsh winter. It was probably one of the hardest winters that this little mountain town had seen in a long time. And in January, we had several weeks of sub-freezing, actually, single digits and double digits, but, teens. And it got kind of rough. And lo and behold, my pipes froze. And I had to learn how to deal with that. In fact, I had to learn how to become a mountain mama pretty rapidly, because I had a heat pump, central heating and air heat pump. And what I learned rapidly when it got so cold was that those things can only warm your house 30 degrees over the outside temperature. So if it's 10 degrees outside, most you're going to get inside your house is 40 degrees. And so I was wearing everything I owned, double layers and triple layers of socks, and I had a wood stove, and I was keeping a fire going in that wood stove, and that was the only thing that kept me from being so miserable. But the pipes froze, and the plumbers came out, and they fixed the problem. They fixed the broken pipe, and within another day, my water stopped running. I had no water. And so the plumbers came back out. They said, well, you don't have frozen pipes. We think you've got a frozen pipe under the ground somewhere. It's not, underneath your house. And so they started working to figure out why there was no water coming from the well to my house. And this proceeded to take place for 16 days. Now, thank goodness I had an office in town where I could go fill up gallon milk jugs to bring home to pour into the commode so that I could flush the toilets, and I could boil water on the stove to wash my dishes. So I wasn't, totally SOL. And I had a gym membership, so I was able to go into the gym every day and take a shower. So it wasn't as bad as it could have been had I not had those two things. But I was getting pretty desperate. And so about 7 or 8 days into this whole saga of not having water, my clients stopped calling. Wasn't getting any phone calls, wasn't getting any emails, didn't have any client sessions, and I was starting to run out of money. I was beginning to think, holy moly, what am I going to do? The mortgage is due on the first of the month because I'd expanded my cabin. I'd taken out a small mortgage, and I had a bill to pay. And I was getting desperate, and nothing seemed to be changing. They would come every day in the freezing cold temperature and dig up my backyard, digging up the road, and nothing was happening. So one day I had to drive down to Atlanta, 2-hour drive. I had to go over the mountain because I had a client in Atlanta who couldn't drive. So I went down to work with her. And as I was going over the mountain, it was early morning and the sun was shining on the ice on top of the mountain. It was absolutely gorgeous. And I heard this little voice inside that said, your clients aren't the source of your money. You've forgotten who source is. And I was like, oh my God, you're right. And it was such a profound moment that I actually pulled over to the side of the road in tears, and I just sat there and cried. And because I realized that I had been looking at everything but God as the source of my supply. So I went on, I took care of my client. When I got back home, the plumber guys were there, and they said, we found the problem, and it's actually in the pump itself. We're going to have to replace the pump. So day 17, they replaced the pump, and I had water again. And also at the same time, my phone started ringing, the emails started coming in, and I had a full schedule of clients once more. All I had to do was get that message. So that's how the universe speaks to us, and we have to remember that Spirit is the source of our supply. And we just have to keep looking up, not looking out. All right, so I know that we have callers that are in listen mode only. And if you would like to have a clearing with me, you have to remember to press 1 so that the producer will see that you're out there and that you actually want a reading. You're not just listening. So if you want a reading with me, we've still got some time. Press 1, and I'm happy to do it. So, and while we're talking about manifesting, we tend to forget that, our body is a piece of this as well. Our body is the manifester. She's the one or he's the one that is part of the material world, and you've got to have a partnership with your body too. But we do have a caller. Somebody heard me say press 1. It's area code 704. How can I help you?
Hi, this is Eva Templeton, a friend of Hillary Cox. She told me about
Hi,
you.
Eva. How are you?
How are you doing? I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing good. So how can I help you today?
Let's see. You mentioned a clearing, and I think there may be something going on right now with my body. I believe I've heard the message, but I'm not sure. Maybe you can make sure that I heard the message or that there's no further message.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. So just take a moment, surrender to spirit, and ask for help. And let's see what is blocking you, and make sure that you've got the message. Okay. So this situation is something that was set up for you actually while you were in your mother's womb. And it's also, this message is coming at you from two directions. We're multidimensional beings. So this is something that actually began when you were in your mother's womb, but you're also dealing with this as bleed through from another dimension. So another aspect of yourself is also acting out this block. So I'm going to pull two of the orange setup cards, and let's see what it is that we're really talking about here. That one and this one. And so the two setup cards that I pulled are servitude, felt powerless, and the other one is loss of faith in self, others, and God. And this thing at gestation it was a second trimester thing. So something actually happened when you were in your mother's womb during the 4th, 5th, or 6th month of gestation that made you feel powerless and lose faith in yourself and your mother, I think, at that point, and probably spirit along with that. So I don't know if you know anything at all about your birth process.
I thought everything had gone relatively easy. I know I was the first one, and I know my mom had to birth because there's never been a mental.
Sudie, I'm not understanding you. Can you speak directly into your phone?
Oh, sure. Hold on just 1 second. Something, I have you on the speaker. Let me speak.
That's much better. That's much better. Now, what did you just say? Yeah.
So what I said is, as far as I know, there was no problem. I was the first one in the family, and my mom had a 20-minute birth, so I came out really fast. Yeah, it was kind of strange.
Well, this could have been something that was going on with her, because when you're in the womb, everything that's going on outside. So yeah. So what this did to your soul was it created a disruption in your ability to be in relationship. So perhaps you felt, that the relationship with your mother was jeopardized. I don't know. But I think what's going on now is that your relationship with your body is disrupted. And there is a stuck belief that needs to be acknowledged. And it's a belief in struggle. I have to struggle to earn love. So let's clear this so that whatever it is you're dealing with, you don't have to deal with it anymore. Okay. So I'm going to pull 3 of the green cards. These are the clearings. All right. So what I want you to do is I want you to go back in time, and I want you to pretend that you're actually looking inside your mother's womb, somewhere in the middle trimester, and I want you to find little baby you. and she's very afraid. She's afraid. She feels powerless. She feels she's angry. And I just want you to let her give you all of those negative emotions. Just sort of put them in your hand.
I feel them.
And then I want you to hand those negative emotions to a beautiful angel and let the angel take them away so that you aren't born with fear and struggle, all that negative stuff. Let's just let it go before you're born. But you're still carrying areas of old stuck energy inside your body and out in your field. So I just want you to ask that same angel to help you to find all of these areas of old stuck energy and just pluck them out of your body and out of your field and take them to the light. Because these are just old thought forms that are no longer appropriate. And just let the angel take all of that stuff away. And now, whatever it is that you've been struggling with, this issue, this problem, I want you to create a bottle. And this bottle can be as plain or as fancy as you want it to be. And I want you to put this issue inside the bottle, and put a cork in the bottle, and just turn around to that beautiful angel and give the angel this bottle with your issue in it. And let the angel take your issue away as well. And there it goes. And you receive blessings for having the courage to call in and ask for assistance. Your first blessing is synchronistic flow and good fortune. So whatever it is you've been dealing with, everything's going to be okay. The second blessing is the return of your authority, your power, and your confidence. And your final blessing is renewed faith in yourself. And it's gratitude that owns every clearing. So just take a moment and give thanks to your angels, your teachers, and your guides. And I thank you for all you are doing to be of service in the world and for calling in today and letting me assist you. And I hope that helps. Okay. So, so we were talking about connection with the body, and what did I do? I manifested a caller with connection with an issue around making sure that she was connected to her body. Your body is your manifesting partner because it is an earth vehicle. And, you're trying, when you want to manifest something, if you want to manifest money or if you want to manifest a partner, a lover, a job, any of these things, these are all material plane things. And you're just a being of light. So it's difficult for you to bring stuff into form, but your body can do it easily. So I want to offer up as a suggestion to each of you today before we run out of time, and that would be to forge a relationship with your body. Take time every day to talk to your body, to ask your body what it wants, and to tell your body what you want, and see how your body feels about it. So the two of you need to be on the same page in order for the manifestation of what you want to occur. Sometimes it's as simple as semantics. I wanted to get money, and so I wanted financial independence, no bills, everything paid, and money in the bank account. My body, on the other hand, wanted financial security. What does that mean? That means just enough to get by. So my body and I were in conflict. I would get money in, and then I would have to use it to pay the bills. I was never getting ahead until we had this conversation, and I suggested to my body that it might really want to consider financial independence rather than security. We could activate security in our divine line, but as far as the money was concerned, we might want to be financially independent, and she got it, and that really made a huge difference. So that's enough of me waxing poetic today. I don't seem to have any other callers in queue right now, so I think we've had a really good show. want to invite you to go to my website, jeanadrienne.com. And if you sign up for my newsletter, you'll be sent, when you opt in, you'll be sent a link to the online version of these InnerSpeak cards, the cards that I created and the cards that I've been using to do clearings for guests today, so that you can do this same kind of work by yourself in front of your computer in the privacy of your home. And they're very simple. It's automated. You can't screw it up. The only thing that I would tell you is don't do more than one a day, because you don't want to throw yourself into overwhelm, and that is a possibility. So just do one session on yourself a day, but go sign up, get your link so that you can start doing clearing work too. And then if you have questions about it, call in on the show every Monday, and you can ask me the questions that come up as you're using the online cards. Just take notes and then bring it to me on the air, and I'm happy to assist you in interpreting what came up for you there. And also, I have another deck of cards there called Reconnecting Soul, and they're DNA activation cards. I'm going to pull one of those for us today. And the card is Metamorphosis. So what this card says is this is a life-changing moment for you. Emerge and embrace the new. Become who you already are, divine. So I'm going to ask the universe to give us the frequency for the latent strand of DNA of metamorphosis. And I want to ask each of our higher selves to activate the frequency of metamorphosis in our divine line. Same for our bodies, same for our team. And I ask that all of our reference points are updated, all ways in which we perceive and are perceived in the world. And I ask that each and every one of you is wrapped in sheets of rainbow light, gently sealing in all the work that we have done today to whatever degree is appropriate for our spiritual evolutionary state individually. And until next week, remember, people, before I go, I want to tell you, remember Lori Houston from last week? She and I had such a good time last week on the show. She's going to be back next week as well, as in addition to the first Monday of every month. So you'll get a reading from Lori and a clearing from me next week. So talk to you then. And until then, remember, people who take responsibility for their lives create the reality they desire. I love each and every one of you. Ciao.
Napa know-how. A Napa guy knows more isn't always better, unless we're talking about full-size vans. These beasts do more than get you from A to B. They have so much space a man can live in it. With shag carpeting, waterbed, and a sweet lava lamp, these mobile abodes have all the comforts of home. With quality parts and plenty of Napa know-how, you can keep the original tiny house running longer, stronger. That's Napa know-how. Napa know-how.